what you do.
Wow, hopefully that woke you up. You managed to keep up with all the reading of that writing. You did better than anybody yet. So, look, thank you very much for the introduction, Debbie. Look, I'm very aware that you're here for this fireside chat. You're not necessarily here to hear me talking about Dooka. So I'm going to keep it brief. I'll keep it to 10 minutes. We feel very privileged as Dooka to be here as the sponsors of this event and particularly this breakfast. And it's not lost on me the importance of the people who are here. I was talking to somebody on the stand yesterday, and he kind of said to me, and it brought it home to me, that actually it's not ministers who make decisions about economies in countries. It's the people who actually have to do that job, who have to make these decisions and make things work better. And we were talking particularly around the whole ESG topic and how do we get that localization to work. And it's the people here in this room, and I think you know it, that you're the people who have to find out the best way to do things and make a difference to this country and the continent. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to give you a very brief explanation of what Dooka is about and why we're here. Our vision is quite big. Our vision is to transform the way that procurement works across the entire continent, particularly around the slightly dysfunctional way that indirects works. And this is that 80-20 challenge that we're all aware of. We spend 80% of the effort on 20% of the spend. And something needs to be done to fix that. And what we believe with Dooka is that we've got the solution to that, and we're going to be pushing that out across the continent. If I were to put, well, first of all, the name Dooka, some of you might be wondering why that weird name. I literally woke up one morning and thought, if I'm going to do a business-to-business marketplace across Africa, we need a name that kind of means something. So I went and Googled what is a marketplace or a shop in Swahili, and it's Dooka, D-U-K-A. So we stylized it a bit, and we've come up with Dooka as our name. If I were to put into a sentence as a starting point what we're about, Dooka is a business-to-business marketplace. And there's nothing particularly earth-shattering in that, we know that. It's a business-to-business marketplace specifically for Africa and African companies. That too, yes, that's nice, but it's not earth-shattering. But it's a business-to-business marketplace for Africa which is designed for large enterprise use. And this is really where the think global, act local comes into it. Because this is something which is just starting to get people's attention across the world. In the USA, IBM are rolling out a marketplace like this. We've got exclusive license to be able to do it here across Africa. But it's a big thing. Having a marketplace that can transact and enable people to shop and buy indirects and still be suitable for large enterprise use. Marketplaces, if you think about it, they're great, right, for shopping. If you're at home and shopping, we all use them. And it's a great shopping experience. But enterprises do not welcome them with open arms. And there's a reason for that, and that is it's pretty much the embodiment of rogue spend. You're just saying to people, just go out and shop. We don't know who you're shopping from. We don't know at what prices. And you're just paying with a credit card and claiming it on expenses. That's never going to work. So what is needed, if we're going to be able to embrace that new way of shopping, it has to work in a large enterprise context. So if you want to think about what Dooka is, think of a business-to-consumer type of marketplace, just like the ones that we're used to, where you can browse for your indirects. And that meets up then with enterprise sourcing, so you know who you're actually buying from, with enterprise procure-to-pay processes, and, of course, with integration with the ERP systems that you've all got. When all of that comes together, you actually get the best of both worlds. So when you're browsing, it looks just like you're seeing a whole bunch of suppliers, but actually those are vetted suppliers, not just to Dooka's standards, but to the standards of each individual buyer that is on the marketplace. Because we know that when you're talking large enterprise, each buyer's got different vetting standards. For some, some sustainability criteria will be higher than others, etc. So when you're browsing, you're seeing vetted suppliers that meet your requirements. And when you check out, you don't pay with a credit card. When you check out, it goes into automatically raising the purchase requisition. And you may have 5 different suppliers with a variety of products on one purchase requisition. And then automatically creating the digital purchase orders, which will get fired off to the suppliers who will also be on the Dooka network. So it's quite feasible for you to have raised the purchase requisition form, got the approvals, and have sent the purchase orders to arrive on suppliers' desks in a matter of minutes or even seconds. So when all of this comes about, I think we have a solution that actually fixes that long tail problem that I was talking about, the 80-20. There is a phrase which has sort of popped into my head, and we're pushing it, and you'll see it on the screen there, right? Just Dooka it. What we mean by that is that there's going to be a change, I think, and I'm predicting this, right? There's going to be a change where someone's going to come and say, oh, I need to buy a desk, chairs, computer, laptop. And in the procurement department, you can say, look, no need for an extended procurement process for this, just Dooka it, right? Just Dooka it. So there's my prediction that that's something that's going to become a thing. So look, the more important part, so that's kind of roughly what it is. We've got a stand here. Hopefully, we'd love to see you on our stand if you want to know a little bit more about what I've just described. If you want to see it, please come and see us, or we can arrange something afterwards. But the bigger part of what I wanted to talk about, and I've got a couple more minutes, is the vision. When we set out to do Dooka, we did a thing called a vivid vision. There's a guy called Cameron Herold who's sort of, invented this new way of doing vision statements. So rather than just a one-liner, if it's a one-liner, we want to be Africa's business-to-business marketplace. That's easy. But the vivid vision says, roll the clock forward to the end of 2024, and what's Africa look like? What does procurement look like? And what's Dooka's place in that whole thing? And it's a 4-page document, which I'm not going to bore you with, but in essence, we see Dooka as being a part of the fabric of commerce across Africa and African countries. With the AFCFTA, the free trade area, rolling out, that's a set of rules, right, to enable tariff-free trade, and it's fantastic. But you still need the tools that enable that easy way of trading across borders as it gets ratified further and further. So I see us as part of the fabric of enterprise. We're changing the way and simplifying the way that the procurement of indirects can work, so that you'll spend less than 20% of the effort on those indirects and the long tail. But once we achieve that, and we're part of that fabric, there's something else that comes with that, because a marketplace like this is the perfect place for SMEs, for BEE companies in South Africa, for those smaller participants to be able to showcase their products and be visible to large enterprises like many of those represented here. And that is a huge part of what we see as our vision as well, is making this something which can join together large enterprise and the smaller enterprises, because it actually, we're all trying to make this happen. The small enterprises want to be able to sell to the bigger companies. The bigger companies want to support local communities, and we can actually make that happen. And it's not just about giving them visibility on our marketplace and then hoping that people are going to buy from them. There's a whole education program that goes with this, a supplier development program that we need to put in place that will make them the sort of suppliers that you want to buy from. It's a two-way street. So that's something which we're doing in parallel. Bernard van Niekerk, I was at his talk yesterday, and he said, what's going to turn the economy around? And the answer, he said, is bringing a lot of small businesses into the economy. And Vusi Fele from ABSA's CPO, said, when society prospers, we all do. The inclusion of SMMEs in corporate procurement is one of the best ways that large corporates can contribute to local communities. We completely embrace that. I think that is exactly encapsulates our vision. So we've been very fortunate that that vision has been shared by a few people that have really made this possible. The Oppenheimer family here in Johannesburg, they saw this straight away, this vision of being able to make a difference Africa-wide. And they provided the seed funding, which has got us to where we are. And we are incredibly proud today to be announcing with MTN that MTN is going to be joining this journey with us. So there's going to be, they share that vision, and we're going to jointly make this happen across Africa. We've got a signing ceremony happening, by the way, on our stand in the VIP area. I think it's at 11:10 this morning. I don't know if that might be a little later, Debbie, given that we've had a slightly later start. But we would love to see everyone here at that signing ceremony. If you want to come along, we'll be popping some champagne, grab a glass, join us just to celebrate the launch of this thing with us and with MTN. So Dirk Carl is the group CPO. I don't know where you are, Dirk, somewhere. But he's going to be on the panel this morning. And Dirk is also going to be, as Debbie announced, doing a keynote. Was I not meant to give that surprise away? I've just done it. So yeah, Dirk is going to be delivering a keynote on this topic or around this topic of how B2B marketplaces can reset the way that procurement works in this country. And Dirk, thank you very much for sharing that vision with us. So I guess that's pretty much me done. There's just a couple of things I wanted to say. One is, if you do come to our stand, we've got these crazy little boxes, and you can see I've opened it there, right? It's almost impossible to open. So anybody who can open this box on our stand, we've got a couple of them there, you get to go into the draw for an iPad. And it's not like, I think we've got a handful of people who've managed so far. So if you actually manage to open that little box, come and have a go. It's a bit of fun. And if you open it, you've got a very good chance of winning the iPad. So that's it from me. I just wanted to say, look, have a fantastic day ahead, everybody. Have a great breakfast. And I know this is going to be a very interesting discussion. And remember, just Dooka it. Thank you.